Direct from Albany, New York, it's time for The Media Zone with your hosts, Ed and Dave. Tonight, a look at this week's new film and DVD releases. And the chance to win free movie tickets with the Poster Pairs game. And now your hosts, Ed and Dave.
Hello and welcome to the Media Zone. Ed and Dave here. Ed and Dave with you. Gonna have a lot of fun on tonight's show, Dave, as always.
Without Lilac.
Without Lilac. Oh. She is shopping for her best friend.
Did you hear that?
What's that?
Channel's changing.
Channel's changing. Oh, but we have something to replace her here. Not as lovely as Lilac, no. But if you've seen the show the past couple weeks, we had a lot of fun up in Lake George.
That is true.
I think we're going to go up there. We'll see if we can bring the cameras through the House of Frankenstein.
You think they'll allow that?
I think they might. You don't want to show too many of the creatures because you want people to come through there. But I think if we focus on us, maybe we'll have the producer walking backwards.
Oh, that's always a good idea.
Through the house.
He can't even walk forward.
And getting our reaction to the various things. So that might be fun. Maybe show a couple of the creatures. We'll get in touch with Mr. Frankenstein up there.
Oh, or Dr. Mordred.
I was trying to think, why couldn't I say Morbid?
I don't know. You kept saying Mordred.
Well, is there a character Mordred? Is it from the Lord of the Rings? Somewhere I was getting Mordred from.
I don't know.
But now I know it's Morbid.
Right.
Dr. Morbid's Haunted House. See all that on YouTube? They're all up there for all eternity. Our trip to Frankenstein.
Oh, boy.
A lot of people enjoyed our trip up there, something a little different.
We must do that more frequently, Ed.
Yes.
Go out amongst the people instead of hiding in this cave many, many feet below the surface of the earth.
The Bat Cave.
That's right.
Now, on today's show, we have something we've never had before. I forgot the reads for the show. So we're going to wing it on this show, and I think next show will be a little in better shape.
A little more prepared. Well, you were prepared.
I was prepared.
You just forgot to bring the documents.
I always check over. I have my rundown. Of course, that's very important, the rundown of what's on the shows. The DVDs are the most important. I checked those 3 times, but I forgot all about the reads. And I can't do that. But we, being professionals for many years, Dave, we can wing it. Even though you haven't seen some of the trailers.
You know, half the time, actually I would say more than half the time, I've never even heard of the films we're doing. So for me to wing it, that's going to be miraculous.
Well, we'll see how we do here. Tonight we have Cabin in the Woods. We've all seen a few promos for that. It looks like the typical horror movie in the woods, but it looks like somebody's manipulating it this time.
Now you just gave away the entire read.
I did. Don't need them.
Right.
Lockout, I think that's the one that looks almost like a remake of Escape from New York in Space.
Oh.
There's got to be credit to the writers on Escape from New York in that.
Who wrote that? Was it John Carpenter, or he just directed the original?
He directed the original. Okay. And the Three Stooges, which we've taken a look at before, but here it is.
Here it is.
And Howard Stern has seen it way ahead of time.
Uh-oh.
And he said, like you, we didn't want to like it, Dave. It was sacrilegious, but he said it was funny. And he was laughing many, many times throughout the film.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Right. And the DVD releases, and our friend over here with a chance to win free movie tickets later on. So let's jump into it. Let's wing it. Off the cuff, as they say.
Cuff. Cabin in the Woods, which I believe stars no one we've ever heard of, Ed.
We didn't need a read for that.
Right. These people all go to a cabin in the woods. And they are shocked and terrified by what goes on in this cabin.
Looks like they're going to the cabin in the Stuck on Stupid recreational vehicle.
There you go. Well, there's your typical inbred there. Probably going to spit. Oh, there you go.
You didn't even see this,
I
did
did
you?
not.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's pretty sad.
Well, they're going to turn this on its edge here. You think you knew the story, and you did. Apparently.
Oh, look at that. You can't go wrong with what is that? What type of a mirror?
Two-way mirror.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that, especially when a beautiful woman is on the other side.
And we see there's some kind of force field technological setup here.
It's like Sliver for a cabin in the woods.
Right.
Look at that. It does have a little bit. It's a different twist. It's not a slasher marauding around the woods. It's like an entire movie set that they have like booby traps. And there's a term you don't hear anymore. Booby traps.
Booby. Booby. You don't even hear booby anymore, really.
No. But it's rigged. It looks like this cabin is all rigged to terrify and shock. Look at that. You can't even escape that. Ooh.
I don't know. I think I'd rather see the typical horror film with it and leave out the manipulation.
Oh.
Right?
I don't know. Yeah, it looks like it's got enough blood and guts to satisfy those who request it. And then the added twist of who's really got this all set up. Who's behind it all?
Maybe it'll work.
Oh, 3D?
Lionsgate, no, thank God.
3D-less?
No 3D.
There you go.
And that Wrath of the Titans came out in the converted 3D. I think there's a website, Fake 3D or Real or Fake 3D, and it tells you which ones were shot in 3D and which ones are converted.
Oh, and you are anti-converted.
And after seeing, if they can't do Star Wars with the Industrial Light and Magic team, it was flat as a board. It was more 3D without the 3D. If you shoot with proper lighting, Dave,
Okay.
it'll snap, it'll pop. You don't need 3D, which even flattens it. It creates a depth. But it flattens the images even more than if you use proper lighting, like we're using here, Dave.
Are we snapping and popping?
I don't know. I don't recognize anybody using the classic lighting techniques where there would be, a 3/4 shot and shadowing on your face. You'd have the light under the eye. I don't see that anymore.
That's because you have people making films by the name of Tom Six.
We did. We'll talk about that. We had our Human Centipede Film Festival, or double feature.
Double feature.
It'll be a festival when the third one comes out.
Right.
We have that in a year.
I don't think I could sit through the first two again.
You can.
I'd have to see the third one, but...
Yeah, so just the third one, since we've had the two. Right. The first one is more like a typical horror movie, like a Frankenstein. It's not too gross. It's fairly interesting with that creepy Dr. Leader.
Right. There's an awful lot of cliches, I think. But for such incredibly low expectations that I had of that film, it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. So therefore, I found it to be moderately entertaining. Second one?
The second one was a comedy, wasn't it?
I think it was. I think it was more comedy.
And I was going to go back in and look, as you said, it was probably a dream. And I was going to check, because there was a kid screaming at the end, I was going to check and see where that was in the beginning to see where he started dreaming or whatever.
I just think it left it up to the imagination to make that determination for yourself, Ed.
A lot of other things weren't left to the imagination. What was the highlight? Him trying to get the creature to poo? And he was all excited and rubbing their stomachs and
I kind of like the...
giggling.
I kind of like... I enjoyed the stapling of the lips.
Oh, God! Yeah, he didn't have the surgical techniques of Dr. Leader there.
No.
Or Heider.
Heider.
Is it Heider? The actor was Leader. Dieter.
Dieter, Leader, Heider? I don't know.
Right. Why are all these things in... I guess he's English, Tom Six, isn't he?
I think he's Dutch.
Dutch, okay.
I think. Dutch, Swedish, I think it's Dutch. But anyway. But we're getting off subject right now.
I thought we'd talk about the film festival here, which we're almost done with.
Fine.